Hello everyone, so in this video we are taking a look at some very pocketable RGB light, pocket fill light, and this is made by a company called Weeylite, and this is the model S03. So obviously from the picture you can tell that they have different colors of those fill lights to help you identify them in the field. And so let's open it up and take a look at the contents. While we're taking a look at the contents, we're gonna charge it up and then we're gonna test those lights with the actual setup and see how well it performs. So those lights actually requires an app to fully control it. You can download the Apple app or Android app in Google Play, whatever. So as soon as you get the light, charge the light, download the app, and then get it ready to use. So took everything outside of the packaging. You pretty much got two USB charging cable, and it's actually USB-C, which is pretty nice up to today's standards. And you got two really nice hot shoe adapter. So basically you can mount this onto any kind of hot shoe and use it for vlogging, which I think is pretty nice, even though I don't do vlogging, but this is a nice feature. You mount it on top of the camera and then you wouldn't have to be afraid of the dark scenes. And it should light up your face really nicely, okay? So read through the manual really quickly. This is a 1000 amp hour battery built in here, 3.7 volts. And according to the manual, it lasts for about 1 hour constantly on. And it's got about 60 of the LEDs built in the light. So this sticker basically just tells you to go download the app. So we're gonna leave it aside. And looking through here, this diffusing box, and again, I don't think the diffuser is removable, so you really can't get a stronger, more concentrated output, but this is what it looks like. So they said there are 60 lights. So there are 40 of those chip components, but I guess some of those lights, RGB lights, are actually, or I'm sorry, the white light it's got a daylight balanced and it's got a tungsten balanced warm white light in those, and those whiter spots are actually RGB lights. Okay, so yeah, in total they have 60 cells in here, and the light itself is extremely lightweight. This is I don't know, probably like 7-8 ounce in total in weight. So I am going to fully charge the light before I come back and continue with this review. So I'll see you guys in the next section once the light is fully charged. All right, so first thing first, I'm gonna show you guys how to pair the light. I think there are two ways according to the manual. The first way is turn your light on using the physical button right here. And the light is going to be on, and then now you're going to open up the app, the Weeylite Pro app right here, and the light is going to default to channel 1 group A. This is the way to pair the lights if you want every light to be in the exact same channel, same group. And when you have the light, turned on and you open up the app, it automatically pairs to group A. This is the easiest way. And once in group A, you'll be able to, play around with the light and by changing the colors and stuff. So let's just do some quick demonstration. So you have the CCT Color, which is basically just the white LEDs and the warm white LED light. It's going to create some different effects. Actually, I'm going to change my white balance actually to a preset white balance of 5500K. So we can better evaluate the light. So this is the actual white balance that I set my my camera to, and this is what it looks like. So there's my skin tone. So the light, again, it's bright, but it's only good for close-up work. If you want to use this as a fill light, maybe if you add two together with the diffuser, I mean, it can go just a little bit further. So like right now, my hand is about 3 feet
3 feet away from the light, and this is what it looks like. I mean, based on the direction of the light source, it's gonna look slightly different, but it's actually balanced pretty well. And I can go to the app and I can make it a slightly warmer tone. So now this is like a kind of like a tungsten light balance, which I mean you can set it to 320, 3200K. This is the tungsten light balance. Now, usually for my video, it's gonna be 5500 or 6000. If you go to 6000, you know, everything gets cooler. So right off the bat, you're able to, you know, play around with the light fairly quickly, okay? I think this is really helpful again for close-up work. Let's go back and play around just a little bit. Now I'm keeping my shutter speed at 60th of a second. I'm just changing my ISO so the light doesn't go, you know, way overexposed in the video shots, okay? So right now you have like a blue light that you can pick and change like right off the bat right here. So pretty cool. It's gonna, when you change those colors, this is where it's gonna be very, very, very useful for fill light. Okay, so like this is, and again, the main reason I think those light is gonna be really helpful in my video. I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit. With those fill light, it's gonna create a much more dynamic atmosphere with just 2 lights for your background light, and your video is gonna look just so much better compared to a regular video with just your standard front fill light and no background lights. Okay, but you have so many different options of changing the light, changing the color, and changing everything else. Okay. But I think the most useful is going to be the CCT, which is your standard white for the fill light, and your HSL adjustments. In here, you can adjust the saturation of the light. You can see the little thing move around, which changes the saturation in the color that you picked. Of course, the lighter saturation you go, the whiter it's going to get. And the more saturation you're going to go, the warmer it's going to get, the more saturated it's going to be. Right now, the brightness is 61%. This is not even full power. Let's turn it on to full power. This is a full power, which at current setting is a little overexposed. So I'm gonna leave the light a little bit more further away. And this is what it looks like. Okay, for red, I'm gonna go to purple. This is full purple at 100% setting. And the light is fairly close. Again, just give you guys a reality check. Those lights are not gonna be able to offer so much range when it comes to, you know, working in very dark situations. Those lights are gonna be very useful for fill lights. Okay, or like run off the gun, you can mount those lights with that little flash hotshoe adapter and then do some quick work. But to get better results, you need bigger lights. That's just the reality. Okay. And you have a color chip function. Over here, you can change the color of to match those chips. I don't know if you can customize those chips. Obviously, I don't see any info to customize the chip. So those are rose gold chips and those are lead chips. I don't really know what those are for, but you have a color chip option. You can also go with a SRGB kind of a color picker, where you can go to the spectrum on the sRGB and then just pick the light according to this. Actually, this looks kind of cool. It's like a cool light blue effect, which is kind of nice. Let's go to the red part. So as you can see, very, very useful for, you know, background light with a color fill. Extremely useful, okay? Those are your FX effects. When you turn those on, you have the option of the RGB coloring FX effects included, which are the one at the bottom. And you have just regular CCT. The regular CCT is just going to be white and warm lights. You can adjust the speed right here. I don't know why it's in Chinese, but this is the speed. You can go like kind of slow, or you have kind of limited speed option. Slow, medium, and fast. This is the 3 options for this adjustment at least. You have the welding effect. So it's gonna look like, you know, someone's welding in the background, kind of cool. And you have a flame effect, like the fire is burning. I don't know, what do you guys think? Like if I leave this on the side, does it look like a flame? It's also got a candlelight effect. This is a candlelight. I almost feel like the flame is actually kind of more looking like a candle. Excuse me. The flame is kind of more looking like a candle than the actual candlelight effect. If you leave the flame a little further, it's gonna give a very nice, you know, low light feel and a warm tone for your subject if you're actually doing low light effects, which is kind of nice. I don't know what the CCT loop is. I think it changes the light from it switches the light from 3200 all the way to 6000 on the daylight balance scale. So this is a CCT loop. As you can see, it goes from kind of like a warm color to the cool white. Kind of nice. And you have a TV effect where it's like someone's looking, you know, at the stuff on the TV. It doesn't change the color. Again, it's just flashing different white colors in different Kelvin scale. And you can adjust the brightness on the fly. You can get it a little bit darker. Oh, turn it off by accident. And they work, the both lights is going to have a random effect. They're going to work individually. So you can see if I turn on the candle, the flame, both illuminates differently. Okay, if you have multiple light source, this is kind of helpful, in my opinion. Now we go on to the RGB light. You're going to have the fireworks. You know, kind of cool to have, but again, I don't think this looks like real fireworks. You have a fireworks 2. Like, what do you guys think? Too fake to me. Fireworks 3. You can probably like go faster. Yeah, so this is what it looks like with fireworks. Or I think this is kind of cool, the police effect. This is nice. Like if you put this outside or close to your window while you're doing like some footage, it's gonna look like actual police presence, which is kind of fun. And it looks, you know, kind of real, right? And instead of the police, you have the ambulance, which is actually just you know, the blue light. I mean, depending on your region, your light is gonna be different for all those emergency services. And you also have a fire truck. So by default, the fire truck is going to be red, ambulance is going to be blue, and the police is going to be individually flashing red and blue. You have some wavy effects. There's an RGB loop, which works kind of like the white, but it's going to be all the color spectrums. You have a romantic. I'm wondering what that is. It's kind of some kind of like purplish tone that kind of, you know, enhances the mood, I guess. Cool. You have a club effect. Oh, wow. That is crazy. It's very flashy. Okay. So this is what it looks like with a club effect. And you have a club 2. It's very flashy. And besides those, the RGB colors, there's different color waves you can choose from. And the speed, again, the speed, there are 3 speeds, 1, 2, and 3, okay? There really isn't much choice besides the 3 speeds. Even though it's a slide bar, there are only 3 settings here. And you can change the brightness, of course. It goes really bright and kind of dimmed light. So those are the color effects. And this yellow wave kind of looks green to my eye. And you have like a purple wave and a cyan wave. It's kind of weird because during the wave, it will actually go dim just a little bit. Oh, now I know why. So those waves doesn't work well with lower brightness. Like if you have the lower brightness here, it doesn't go as low. It just shuts itself off. So you have to, like if you use a wave mode, you have to make sure your brightness is turned up quite a lot. So it can switch between those brightness differences. Otherwise, it actually goes to the off stage, which looks weird. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. Let's see. So definitely, I think the most useful effect would be the flame to imitate like the candle and the police and the ambulance effects. I think those are very realistic. And the CCT loop maybe sometimes will be helpful, like as a background noise light. And there's also a flash for paparazzi and stuff, kind of nice. Okay, and a burst effect. You know, those are pretty much it. And a flash lamp, you know, just flashing, kind of cool. So anyway, let's go back to the actual main interface. I'm gonna turn it back to a standard light. Okay, so now we experienced most of the effects, and of course another thing is the color picker, where you can use your camera to point to a object and it picks a color for you based on that light or what the camera picked. Okay, so if my camera picked this kind of yellowish thing, it's gonna display that, but or like a little darker object, maybe some weird object on the back. So different stuff you point is gonna give you a different color, which is kind of cool. You can also use your pictures or an actual photo. That's your option, and you can change the brightness on the fly as well. Kind of useful. And what is this? My scene. So I think you can save different options. Let's see. By adding the plus sign on the top, and then it would actually add it to your favorite scene. So if you have like a kind of cool background that you really like, maybe this color, you know, as a fill light, I'm gonna hit plus, and it's gonna create a scene for me. I will just call this BG, background 1, and it's gonna save this to the scene right here, which is pretty cool for like quickly pick up the stuff that you need right off the saved stuff. And as you can see, you can have multiple options. You can have 6 different groups in one channel. Okay, and within those channels, you can have so many lights. I don't know how many. They only sent me 2 lights to test, which I think is already enough for me as the background light for my simple videos that I record. But you can have so many different options. Look at the channel options. You have 18 channels, okay? And within those channels, you have 6 groups. And within all those groups, you can control a whole bunch of lights all at the same time. Now, I only showed you guys the one way of connecting the light, which is turning the light on and then turning on the app. Now, there's another way which I find useful, is you can change those lights. You can put those lights into different groups. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to quit my app, and we're going to leave the lights off. Okay, so let's open up the app again. I want to put the orange light in channel 1, group A. So I'm going to turn on, and right now I turn on this little setting, have the group A selected. Group A is turned on, and now I'm going to turn on my light, and it should be paired with group A. Okay, and the cool thing is now you're going to turn on group B, and you're going to turn on the group B power button, and you turn on the blue light. The blue light is turned on and it's paired with group B. That's how easy it is to pair different lights into different groups. Okay, pretty cool. And you can now control each light individually. Over here, I can go with a blue light fill. Kind of hard to see. Let's see. So now you can control each light individually. Okay, which is very, very cool. Now I'm gonna set a effect for group B with flashing. We're gonna use a police presence flashing light, and over here I'm gonna use a candlelight fill for group A. So look at that. Immediately you have a very nice candlelight for low light fill, if you're doing something indoors, and a background light, for your window, right? It's actually quite real looking, and it also filled your subject quite nicely over here. So I would say, yeah, extremely useful lights. As long as you're not using it for your main fill light, those lights should be powerful enough for a lot of work. And again, I'm doing this at ISO 400. So with those said, I have my two lights already all set up. I'm gonna test it as a fill light by setting one light to a purple fill and one light to a blue fill. And I'm gonna use this as my background light, okay? So let me set up my camera and I'm gonna show you guys how those lights looks as a background light. All right, guys, so right now, ISO is at 800. I'm using some just available lights close to my desk. And I have my monitor turned on. Actually, I'm going to turn off the monitor. So you guys can see I have two fill light placed in the back of my monitor, which actually made the scene looks very dynamic. Okay, immediately with just two fill lights, my background already looked super more interesting. Alexa, turn on computer light. And if I, turn on one more backlight, it's gonna wash away with the light, but still it just looks so much better with compared to no lights in the background. So let me turn those lights off. Alexa, turn off computer light. And you can see how boring the background is. And that's just one reason I'm telling you right at the beginning of the video how useful those lights can be to enhance the background of your video as a fill light. And now I'm going to quickly turn on the light with my app. Look at that. Immediately it looks great. So I have the blue light sitting vertically, pointing all the way to the back, and it actually reached the white wall back there on the door. And the other light actually had it pointing up. And what's crazy is with ISO 800, this is a 60th of a second f1.8 with, of course, IAF, so it's actually focused on my eye. So the background is kind of blurred, which also adds to the enhanced effect of those lights. But the crazy thing is the brightness is actually, I set the brightness of those lights at only 30%. So you can definitely have a more powerful front fill light and then bump those lights output quite a lot more and get a more dramatic effect. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like at 100% fill. This is at 100% fill. It's dramatic, okay? Compared to before, you can see the brightness difference. And I'm going to turn down the blue tone just a little bit. As you can see, just find that good balance and your background is going to be like very, very interesting. And I can instantly change different colors for the background. This is just so cool with a press of a button. And the range for this, because it's based on Bluetooth, so it's about, I think, 10 to 20 meters that you can control with your phone. So once you have those set, you don't really have to adjust it on the fly, but this is just for indoor work, it's more than enough range, to change settings on the fly. And this is what it looks like, okay? So I can have the light kind of go all, let's pick a red color and a opposite color for the other light. Great for gaming environments, I would say, or just dramatic background fill light. And this actually works fantastic. Like, I really have no complaints about those lights. According to the manual, it works for 1 hour. I haven't really, tested for the full hour, but just for the amount of time that I'm going to be doing videos, which is usually less than 30 minutes, it's going to be more than enough for all my needs. And just a cool gadget, absolutely cool gadget to have. I am definitely going to use those lights in my future videos because, again, it looks fantastic, okay? Out of curiosity, before we wrap up this video, I'm going to actually take one light out, put it on the front of the camera, and let's see how well that actually illuminates my face without me actually turning on any of my available lights in front of me, Okay, so let's give it a try. All right, so I turn off most of my light source close to me, and the background, again, it's illuminated with one of the light. Let's see. And that's what it looks like. I can probably do, you know what, I'm gonna do a RGB switch or cycle, and that's gonna give me some random RGB color in the background that changes all the time. And I'm gonna change the speed to kind of slow. So it's gonna slowly cycle. And moment of truth, guys, I'm gonna turn on the actual light right here. What do you guys think? I'm actually surprised by how bright the light is. So I was wrong about the powerfulness of the light. I never mounted it onto my hot shoe thinking this light is just in no way is gonna illuminate the scene quite nicely, but I was totally wrong. Look at the brightness. Like this is actually at 30% brightness. I used the hot shoe adapter, which they provided. Just mounted it directly onto the hot shoe of my camera, which is a Sony A7 IV. The new camera that just came out a couple weeks ago. Great camera for video, by the way. And this is what it looks like. An ISO 800. And I mean, granted, it's kind of harsh because you can see my face is not as well diffused compared to having a more diffused and further away light source. But I was surprised at how bright this light is. Look at that. So if you're doing vlogging, this light it's gonna be more than powerful enough, okay? ISO 800, and I have my brightness setting at only 30%. So imagine if I turn it to 100%, what's gonna happen? This is at 100%. Still ISO 800. I mean, I can probably lower my ISO to like 400. Maybe that's too light, too dark. So if you're at ISO 400, you can literally, again, hold your camera and do some cool vlogging with this light. You have potential to go even lower. And again, the light in the back, that's also right now at 100% power, cycling through different RGB lights, which is, you know, pretty good. So I'm gonna put my ISO back to 800, and I'm gonna go a little further away, and just not using the full power. Gonna go a reduced color. And again, this is the 5500K Kelvin. We can change the color just slightly, go a little warmer, 5200K, and we can go to 4000, which is kind of like a fluorescent light source. So this will be good. This will be good to pair with fluorescent lights if you are working with fluorescent lights indoors. And this is the tungsten light, which is kind of yellow. And again, my white balance for the camera is actually set at 5500K. Okay, so which is set at flash, which looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna go 6000, and now you can see the color tone is actually a little cooler, and we're gonna go 7000. This is like a little too cool without changing the actual daylight balance, white balance. So I would say yes, the white balance is actually fairly accurate. And yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by how bright this light is. Like at 100 brightness, ISO 800, I'm probably like 6 feet away from the light, and it's still more than enough to illuminate all the stuff around here. And in general, your body, like half of your body at least. So all in all, guys, I am actually really surprised by the usefulness of this light. Not only as a background fill light, but even, you know, for serious vlogging work, this light is more than enough to give you a good noise, like low noise video. Like right now, ISO 800, and I'm like 6 foot away. Again, this is like more than enough for self vlogging. And just in general, extremely useful as a fill light. Right now, the entire scene in this shot is powered by 2 battery-powered LED lights that's pocketable. And how amazing is that? So in that sense, I'm gonna actually conclude this video right here and say the Weeylite S03 is really a excellent light to have, especially for field work, especially for vlogging, and extremely useful as field light. Okay, very simple to use as well. The app is like super easy to use, and you can instantly save all the settings, all the useful settings you need, and you can pair with so many different lights all at the same time. So you can literally buy a whole bunch of those lights, plus they don't cost as much. So you can buy a whole bunch and just set it up in your studio as field lights and then turn them on all at the same time. It's great. Like, would I actually at this point like go out and spend probably like over $100, $200 for a dedicated, more bigger field light panel? Probably not. I'm just gonna use those lights as a field light, and it works great for my purpose because all I do is whatever I do is in front of my desk. Okay, so in that sense, those lights works perfect for me. Okay, if you guys have any questions about this particular light, the Weeylite S03 pocketable battery powered field light, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to answer for you guys. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button. Thanks again, and see you in the next video. Take care.
So this will be a bonus footage on what this little light can do when you're not using it for video recording, which is helping getting things better illuminated when you're doing gardening work at night.
Which is unusual.
See, it works great. And again, right now I'm using my cell phone, so it still illuminated my video really nicely. And so yes, in terms of using it for vlogging, absolutely. Look at that, like this is looks like daylight. And again, using those tiny two little lights, fantastic.